This is an excerpt from our conversation with independent filmmaker Aileen Sheedy. To hear the full episode, click on the link in the description. And now, on with the show.
Anyway, sorry. Love Last Unicorn forever.
Last Unicorn and Never Ending Story. I look at a lot of 80s fantasies movies and see kind of the attitudes about, because these are ostensibly made for kids.
Yeah.
But not really.
Yeah.
The attitude being a reflection of like the rise of youth culture in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
And youth identity breaking away from the establishment and the parents.
Yes.
And that how that shifted through the 70s till we got into the 80s.
Yes.
Of now realizing, okay, this is what it means to be independent, and then transition into adulthood or taking the reins of your own autonomy, either through fantasy adventure or like in St. Elmo's Fire, like getting out of college and now being in adult relationships, being in adult situations, and still maybe having some teenage sensibilities.
Mm-hmm.
What? So St. Elmo's Fire was also my first time seeing that movie.
Yeah.
And I love that I get to introduce you to so many things.
This is why I'm doing this podcast. Is somebody's like, you should watch this movie. I'll try to find time for it. And now being slightly obligated, I'm like, okay, I'm getting to see things that I should have pursued in the first place. Like, I love Rob Lowe. I've tracked down a lot of Rob Lowe's early work, like Youngblood.
Yeah,
that he did with Patrick Swayze. It's a hockey movie. Keanu Reeves just pops into it for like 5 minutes and then pops back out.
Oh my god, I love those 80s movies so much where you're just like, what, who, okay, hi.
It's kind of like Newsies, which like, how many little stars can we get in to bring collective fandoms together? But
St. Elmo's Fire was more deliberate, I think, though, in that. It was very specifically written for Brat Pack-y kind of.
Well, it was the movie that created the term Brat Pack, actually.
Was it?
Yeah, so there was an article written about this movie that was the first time that term was used.
Well,
I can 100% see that, because that's this is the only movie I had a little trouble with, because I'm like, I don't actually like, other than Mare Winningham, she's fucking great, but the rest of these people kind of suck, actually.
They're kind of all awful, which is I think maybe what I love about it. Anyway, sorry, go Jason.
I was just gonna say a fun fact about Mare Winningham. She went to a high school that specialized in theatrical productions and a segue into getting into Hollywood or onto Broadway. There she was like a standout, got the leads in almost everything, including The Sound of Music. And she also went to high school with Val Kilmer, who was her boyfriend at the time.
Wow.
Oh my god.
And I was like, good job, Val Kilmer, because Mare Winningham is awesome.
Yeah.
It was on my short list of people to work with for a long time, because that just sort of, that natural sadness in her face is it's really interesting to play with. She just always looks sorrowful.
Yeah,
which I love.
You guys kind of touched on accurately that all these characters are troubled. All these characters have flaws of their own if you get through. I was going to ask, out of all the characters, the main characters in the movie, was there anybody that you guys would date?
Oh, fuck no.
Oh, Jesus. I not now.
Exactly like Rob Lowe. So
I would have gone for Rob Lowe pretty hard when I was 22, but not now.
I feel like we have times in our lives that we tend to go for the very sad bad boy with the tragic past who's actually a piece of shit.
Yeah,
he was. What got me was at the end, he's the one who said, all right, first of all, why was Demi Moore blonde? But Rob Lowe was the one saving blonde Demi Moore when she's having kind of a nervous breakdown.
Yeah.
Well, whereas a few minutes before, he was kind of trying to force her into sex.
Yeah. Not even kind of like blatantly trying to. Yeah. And like, I did not buy that speech and him saving her at all. Guys like that do not do that shit.
And we might change this, because Aileen, I don't want to shit on a movie that was close to your heart.
Yeah, I mean, out of all the movies, this is the one I think is probably the most divisive. Like, I feel like people either really love it or really hate it. And I, like, sometimes when I watch it, I'm like, man, this movie is really bad. But, like, it's also really good. Like, it's...
Yeah, how would you champion it? And that's not a challenge. Like, every movie deserves to be appreciated for something. Oh man, that didn't sound like a. That sounded like a backhanded way of saying it.
I mean, I didn't make the movie, so. But like
Joel Schumacher did.
Yeah, he did.
He knows a lot about heteronormative relationships.
Yeah, I mean, I think what it was for me was I probably just saw it at really like the right time. Like I saw it when I was in high school and like going into college, so I was like the age, and I felt like a person who was very I felt like a bad person a lot. And and there was something about like seeing, and this is also I think the reason why like I really liked Girls when that was on too, but like there's something about like when you feel like a bad person and you see other people who are just being like awful, like it's a little bit cathartic, or like it's a way of like being seen maybe, and just being like, yeah, well, maybe I'm shitty, but also look at these people. Like
Kristen and I have talked in the past about movies and storytelling in general are a way to kind of test out ideas, test out feelings, kind of put yourself in a hypothetical situation of things that might hurt, things that might be scary. And
yeah,
I don't know, did you feel at that time that sort of that transition from teenager to young adult that happens in college is also kind of an internal destruction and recreation of identity?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and for me, like especially like I had a really, really hard time with that. Like I had a really hard time going from college, or from high school to college, and then from a college to like being an adult, partially because of like it just feels a little whiny, I guess, but like I had sort of been raised my whole life to feel like, oh, you have to be good at school, you have to be good at high school so you can get into a good college, and then you have to be good at college so you can get a good job, you can graduate and get a good stable job that will support you for your life. And that was like kind of just my parents' outlook on life, and that was the way that like I had this path that I was on. And then I got to the end of college and I graduated and I got this software job, and I was like, cool, I did the thing that I was supposed to have been doing my whole life. Like this is the thing and I don't like it. Like I go to this job and I'm miserable. Like I felt so lost because I was just like, I don't know what this was what I was supposed to do. Like, so what do I do now if this isn't the thing? If this isn't what I'm going to spend the rest of my life doing, like, what am I supposed to do with myself now?
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure you've told me this before, but because I had a very similar time in my life, and a huge part of it was like, I want to make movies, but I don't dare say it out loud. Was that kind of the same for you, or was it more like a process of discovery?
I think probably more the second thing, because I didn't know that I wanted to make movies. I just never saw it as an option. It was such a big, like, foreign thing to me. It was like, I'm not from, California or New York or whatever. Like, I've never seen a movie get made. It's like, I loved movies as a kid and as a teenager and stuff, but like, it just never felt like, it just never crossed my mind that it could be something I could do. I didn't really kind of start to think about it seriously until after I had quit my job, and I was just like, well, I don't know what else to do. Like, digital cameras are a thing now, so I guess maybe I can try.
Was it really just, I don't know what else to do, that started you on that path?
It kind of was. It was kind of, I mean, I had done like these 48-hour film projects just for fun, because I had taken like video classes in college just because, like, for fun. And
so you were still drawn to it then?
Yeah, I was. I don't think I ever saw it as a viable career option.
I mean, I'm going to time travel back and meet your 20-year-old self and be like, Aileen, I feel the same way. Let's just fucking do it.
Yeah.
Let's just do it. What are we waiting for?
One thing in St. Elmo's Fire that I wanted to bring up, as a fan of 80s movies and kind of temperaments of the time, or having been a young man dating, was Emilio Estevez's arc in the movie, where he falls in love with Andie MacDowell. falls in love with Andie MacDowell, who's a doctor at a hospital that they go to at the very beginning, and spends the whole movie trying to get her attention and trying to get her number to go on another date, to the point where at the end he drives all the way up to a mountain cabin that she's at with her boyfriend on a ski vacation, and he is obsessively intense, banging on the door, kind of demanding that she talk to him and answering why she won't date him. And going to like the way movies were made at the time, the attitudes at the time, that would have come off as his devout love, how much he was really into this woman, and with all the stress and effort he was putting in, he should therefore get to earn her. And that doesn't play well today.
Isn't she impressed? How dare she not show up to this fake party that I threw entirely for her sake, even though she doesn't know me?
Having been a young man, I can see why that storyline still has some value today as a negative example, but also showing like how big feelings can be. If you take away his bad choices and just look at what he's going through, he is going through a romantic obsession. He handled it very badly, but it is something that humans can go through. Any human can go through.
Yeah, and I think when we're young, especially, like, I mean, I've definitely felt that way. Like, I'd thankfully never had the guts to do anything about it, so it didn't get that embarrassing. But like, I felt those feelings. I could have driven in high school. I would have made all sorts of bad choices. I would have driven to so many houses I shouldn't have driven to.
Yeah. Well, and at the end, where she says, like, "Hey, you know what? Maybe in another world, this could work out." No. It's not like a definite no between us. And I was like, and I realized, oh shit. My best friend watched this with me, and because she said, "Oh, I remember seeing that when I was 13, when it had just come out." And we're watching together. I was like, no 13-year-old girl should see this without an older woman there saying, Andie MacDowell is placating this psycho, so that he doesn't come back and do it again.
And it's so interesting. It's the script is on his side, I think, but Andie MacDowell plays it so uncomfortably, especially like right when he does that forced kiss just before he drives away. He's super proud of himself, but she like looks like
that was horrible,
crawl out of her skin, which. It's such an interesting, I don't think that anybody making the movie other than maybe she was aware of that. Which just, I mean, I'd feel the same way.
I feel like that's one of the things I do really love about this movie, like all the weird stuff in it aside, is like how hard the actors committed to this. Like they are so playing those roles so like raw, like so like Demi Moore especially, like I think about her character a lot, and just like how she's just so wild. She just doesn't know what to do with herself, and like she's like an explosion happening.
There were plans to make a TV spinoff kind of shortly after it was made.
I didn't know that. Oh my god.
I read on Wikipedia that many of the main cast from St. Elmo's Fire have expressed interest, if they can coordinate their schedules, into making a sideways sequel or like a handoff sequel where it's their kids. Which, by the way, if all their kids are having these really toxic relationships together in 2025, maybe they're grandkids by now.
I feel like if they're gonna do that, they would do it with Breakfast Club, though. I feel like that's more primed for that kind of a sequel, you know what I mean?
I agree.
St. Elmo's Fire would be interesting, though, because all of the characters are kind of shitty.
So,
like, if it gave some redemption arcs for them or lessons learned.
Like, are they still?
I kind of don't want to know. I feel like most of these characters would be dead by like 45, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
Like Rob Lowe is definitely not still alive.
He's going to New York and he's not coming back except in a box.